What's happening, folks? It's Friday, 6 a.m. sharp, June 12th. My name is Amal, and I'm going to do a quick Bitcoin and crypto analysis. We'll also look at the broad markets of exactly what happened yesterday with the big sell-off. So let's get started, all right? So I've been kind of talking about this June monthly open level for a couple of weeks now, or at least like the last week or two. Since we started the month of June, which was right around this area right here, you can see we've pretty much hammered this level multiple times, right there, and then finally yesterday we smashed through it. In my opinion, I think it was bound to happen. The fact that we were constantly hammering on this level, but finally yesterday we were given the perfect set of events to actually make it happen, which was the overall broad markets selling off, whether it was gold or silver, oil, equities, commodities, even currencies. So for the most part, this was a pretty good and strong sell-off with some high volume smashing through this June monthly open. Oftentimes, when you approach a specific level with high volume before it has a higher chance of actually pushing back up and out of it. When you break through the level with high volume, so let me show you guys closely, so you can see this particular candle right here with this high volume. This is what you want to see when you want to break through a level. So I consider this broken, okay? For the most part, this level right here is probably going to be flipped into resistance. Now again, that doesn't mean that exactly at that marker we have to start reversing. I mean, chances are, we might like keep grinding up or pushing up, but sooner or later, I think we're probably going to reverse down. I've spoken about how if you're simply looking at Elliot wave counts, right? At best, you could say maybe this was the top of the fifth, like one. Let me draw out the wave count actually. And this could be a 1, 2. Maybe 3, 4, and then 5 up here. And so that would mean that at best, you're coming into an ABC, which would be, this is your A, your B, and this could be your C, because it is slightly lower low, but who knows, it could be a little bit lower, right? So at best, that is the count that you get. Alternatively, you might get something like this, which is, let's just say, one of the counts like this, 1, 2, we're still possibly working on a 3, okay? So the 3 might be down here a little bit further, maybe, the range low down here. But even if we consider this a 3, well, technically you can't, because if you consider this a 3, that means a 4 would be up here, and that would invalidate the low of the 1, because your 4 wave can't go deeper inside the 1. So this can't really be a 3 and a 4. So more than likely what we're doing is we're probably in the middle of a 3. Okay, so I'm thinking that we might have another leg down, put in that 3, maybe the 4 comes up somewhere like this, and then the 5 either is below this range low or maybe down here around $7,500, $7,600. It's hard to say exactly. Whoops, there we go. The 4 is up here and the 5, okay? So the 5 could be this previous consolidation period when we went up. So the 5 could land inside this area again, right? I've spoken about that before. So when it comes to wave counts, I'd probably say this is maybe the count that we're in. At best, you could maybe get, a 3 somewhere a little bit lower, a quick 4, and then maybe a 5, like a quick 5 down there, which is just range low right there. That's possible because I guess, we could make the argument that, all right, this is still a larger distribution range. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ending at the bottom of the range where you have more distribution at the bottom. The reason I find that a little bit more unlikely is I've constantly said that this whole range to me has more or less looked like distribution. I would probably say with the events that are setting up in the US with more coronavirus cases, with a pretty big smackdown in the equity markets yesterday, it gives good reason for Bitcoin to also start selling off. All right. I mean, you have the perfect set of events, in my opinion. That's if equities keep selling off. So yesterday, I warned our Advantage members right in the morning that it's time to start paying attention. Okay. It's right around, just before market open, right? So market opens at 8:30 a.m. my time. They said, it looks like we're having a bit of a sell-off. You can see yesterday pre-market trading, it was down a pretty significant amount. And then we had also broken structure on the ES, which is the S&P 500 E-mini futures contract. And with the cases in the US, Texas, Arizona, the Carolinas, they're spiking higher, right? I have friends in both Florida and Texas and even North Carolina, technically. And a lot of people are telling me that, there's no sense of wearing a mask. There's no, social distancing that's really happening. So it's a bit scary, at least as an American. So it makes sense that maybe the market is trying to get in front of what could be happening, which is a potential second wave. And so if that's going to happen, it's time to start being careful. Like we might have, more of a destruction in capital and the markets over the next several weeks, kind of like we did here. Doesn't mean we have to drop in the same fashion. It's possible we have a slow grind down over the next several weeks. And so that means that Bitcoin could also possibly, have a slow grind down over the next few days or weeks. The one other metric that I pay attention to on Bitcoin, I showed you guys this before, right? So if we're looking at this price range right here, okay, so that's this area that we're looking at on a chart. This website, what it helps you understand is what are the inflows and outflows for Bitcoin. So for example, how much Bitcoin is coming live or onto the exchange and how much Bitcoin is flowing out of the exchange. So typically when Bitcoin is coming onto the exchange, you don't really do anything with that Bitcoin other than look to sell. And more often than not, it's bigger players who put Bitcoin on the exchange with big chunks, right? More often than not, it's miners. Okay, so there's this pro chart right here. What was it? CQ Live. This one right here, which talks about the unknown mining pool, which is one of the mining pools that has been selling Bitcoin quite significantly over the last several weeks. You can see right there, good amount of Bitcoin outflows. So their outflows, so mining outflows equals exchange inflows, right? Because if they're moving Bitcoin out, they're moving it in to an exchange, meaning they're looking to sell. So when we go to this metric overview chart, you could see, so let's go hour by hour. Let's see here. So you can see, if we zoom in a little bit more, like I said, you can see the spikes in the inflows. So even yesterday, if we dig in a little bit closer, right around before we rolled over, you see Bitcoin being loaded onto the exchange. So that means there are some pretty big size sellers in the market. And when there's bigger sellers in a larger range like this, constantly selling at the tops of the ranges like right there, right there, right there, and even right there, that is the indication of distribution. So these are the metrics that you have to pay attention to. Okay, you can't just blindly say that, all right, well, we're bullish. Like, here's another stat that I think I mentioned to you guys, right? Since the beginning of the year, we've only spent 7 or 8 days, I think, over 10,000, meaning we've actually closed above 10,000. Okay, so this is day 1, 2. This one closed. Okay, so that's 3, 4. Okay, this one closed at 99.07, so that doesn't count. So that's 4 days we had in February. This one again closed at 10,195, so that's 5 days. This one closed at 95.96, so we have 5 days over here. Okay, obviously none of this is 10,000. Then we have this one right here, day 6. Remember, we closed over this for like maybe 2 hours and then dumped. So that's 6 days. 7 right there. Okay, and then this one, nope, this one didn't actually close above 10,000. It closed at 98.94, but we spiked into. So we still have only 7 days that we've closed above 10,000 since the beginning of the year. So you can see why this is a key level, 10,000. It's a key level, whether it's psychologically or whether it's due to previous resistance right here from October. It's a key level where sellers are stepping up big. And with the broad market sell-off that we had yesterday, whether it was gold or silver, oil, Bitcoin, equities, you should be careful and cautious that Bitcoin might, maybe see the same fate as the markets did way back here in March, just like Bitcoin did in March right there. Doesn't mean it has to happen the same way, like I said, but it pays attention. It will pay to be a little bit more cautious right here. Okay. So here's another thing, right? So I saw the pre-market popping up a little bit. So I'm thinking that maybe today's a bounce day. Vassal and myself started to close down some of our long exposure. Just yesterday, I warned our members of my Beyond Meat position. So let me see here. So I had Beyond right there, as you can see. I closed Beyond at 154, 2.47%. I think I was up like the day before that. I was up about 9.2% or so. But again, it's best to get out of profit. And then I left my stop at break even for the remainder of my position. So here's the thing. What you need to understand about equities, Bitcoin, any other market that you trade, do your best to secure profit. Never let a winning trade go into a losing or bleeding trade. That is the worst way you can trade or invest in the market. Okay? At best, you should try to figure out if you could even set a break-even stop to make sure that you get out some profit. But try to make sure that you actually figure out what to do when it comes to this kind of thing happening in the market and you don't know how to react. Vassal and myself told our community that this is what we're doing. Again, we can't tell you to buy or sell, but we could tell you exactly what we're doing in the market, right? So we don't provide financial advice, but we show you exactly what we're doing. And even yesterday, our Beyond Meat July 2nd option call was up 28%, got out of that with about 30-35% cut. Now that the remaining 66% or so of my position is now in red, but at least I took some profit. Because Beyond Meat, I entered Beyond at I think 147, 146 average, so 146.89. So Beyond was trading at 143. Pre-market right now, Beyond Meat is back up to about 146 or so, 147. So who knows, I might get out in terms of my positions to get out at break even. We also don't know if this market is just having a healthy pullback and then going to push up higher. So all that remains to be seen. Same thing with Bitcoin. I personally think that Bitcoin broke through a very key level. The next area that Bitcoin should hold off or head off into is at least $8,600 or $8,700. Because I showed you guys this before, right? Let's turn on the fixed range right there. Okay, so if we turn on the fixed range, this is the key high volume node. Below that, this is the next high volume node, way the heck down here around $8,800, $8,700. So if you break through one high volume node and you're now rejecting that area, as you can see, chances are much higher that you head down here towards the next high volume node. So I don't see us floating around here for too long. maybe 24 hours, but probably figure that if we're having that wave count, like I said, which is, maybe this is a 1, 2, we might be in the middle of a 3, maybe a 4, quick 4, and then maybe 5 like that. So that's what I'm thinking, 8788 area. I personally don't want to be long here. If I'm going to go long anywhere, it's down here or down here. Okay. Let's turn on the pivots, right, and the Bollinger Bands. So here's something interesting about the pivots and the Bollinger Bands. Okay. Whether you look on Bitfinex or Coinbase, the pivot right here is right around 97.62 on Bitfinex. On Coinbase, I think it's like 98.25 or something. But on BitMEX, it's like completely different because of this, big spike down. I think. Check that out real quick. All right. So let's turn this off. So you can see on BitMEX, it's like 96.03 or 96.10. So I don't know. If you want to pay attention to BitMEX, I guess that's possible. I mean, we could get rejected there. I mean, worst case, we maybe head up towards like 97.62 based on Bitfinex and Coinbase's pivot. But, we also smashed through the Bollinger Band on the 4-hour. So even the Bollinger Band on the way back up kind of acts as resistance. Remember, Bollinger Band is nothing but, the measurement of volatility, or you could look at it as like the standard deviation of price ranges. So the middle band currently is right around 96.50, which also happens to come around where this ascending channel was. Let me turn this off, actually. Let me turn off this and then leave this on. So remember this channel right here that we were grinding in, and then we finally broke down. So we could hit that, the top of that, not the top, the bottom of this ascending parallel channel, and then start getting rejected, because you could see this was previous, bottom support right there. Okay, once we broke through it, possible that we tested as resistance right around 96.50, where the middle Bollinger Band is as well, and then start the rollover. So those are some of the key areas, right? If you're looking for adding to your short, if you're looking to get out of your position, if you're looking to go long, there's a couple different ways you can play it. There are many different ways to trade the market at any given moment. The choice is yours if you actually want to get into a position, right? And if you're prepared to get into the position rather than just FOMOing in or panicking out of a position. I think that's the difference between good traders and bad traders. So anyway, so we're going to pay attention to the markets today. Like I posted here, we do have a 50% off discount going on. So if you guys want to join, just message me right here. All right, that's pretty much it. I'm going to head out, and hopefully you guys have a great rest of the weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Don't focus too much on the market, and keep your stops tight. All right, cheers, everyone.